So Kate was his wife,
Yeah.
and then Laura and May were his kids.
Two of his kids. Those were both sisters of the grandfather. The date's correct for Laura. May, I believe her name was Mary, but I think the dates are wrong. Again, this stone wasn't put up in 15 or 23.
Yeah, according to that, she lived 6 years. No,
She was young.
yeah, 6 years.
She was young when she died, but I think it was, she may have been 6 or 7, but the dates are off by a couple of years. I don't know exactly.
And Laura didn't live that long either.
Laura died when she was
16.
16. She was visiting another one of George and Kate. She was visiting an older sister, an older married sister, up in Crookston, Minnesota. She had appendicitis. They took her into the hospital, but they couldn't do anything for her, and she died up in Crookston, Minnesota, of an appendicitis attack after visiting an older sister. The older sister that married that guy Weber I told you about, who then went out and died, who had a son named Morton Weber.
Oh, okay.
He was visiting this. So Laura was visiting an older sister up in Crookston, Minnesota, and she died up there. And then they brought her back and was buried here. Kate actually died in Chicago, but was brought back up to be buried here because that's where George was buried. But I don't know when the stone was put up. I did get to talk, communicated and got some records. The earliest records I have of this plot is my grandfather and his older brother signing the lease or signing the agreement. That agreement was several years after Kate's death. So I don't know. So like I said, I'm betting that the stone was put up a good 7, 8 years. Well, who knows when the stone was put up? But the earliest records I found are a good 7 or 8 years after Kate died. So when Mary died, there was probably no marker. And over the years, after both of them died, they were probably, I think, guessing it what those years were. But I found the records at the county for birth and death, and that's why I know they don't match up.
No.
But the rest of the years on here are good. Now, Kate was born in England, and Kate was a Bradley.
And she was apparently a lot younger.
Yeah, she's only 4 years younger.
4?
1856, 1860.
Oh, looks like 80 to me.
That's why 6s and 8s, like I told you when we looked at David's.
Right.
That's why I think when they put the new stone in, they put a 26 in when they meant to put a 28 in. Because those 6s and 8s, especially when they wear, look a lot different. But Kate was born in England. George was born somewhere in Moundville, pretty close to, if not near, the land where David is buried. I would suppose, because that's Moundville. So he was born there.
And these are the only ones here at this cemetery?
There's a bunch of other related relatives here.
Well,
if you want to walk around, I'm not as familiar as to. I know I've seen their markers.
Well, I'm not so impressed. I don't really need to. Are they Hortons or are they?
There are some like what David's third wife. I think there's some Hortons here that were sons from his third wife. I don't have my list, but I know there are others buried here, and I know there's some Hortons. Like I said, I think they're from David's third.
So. David, he was your great-great, and so George is your great.
Right.
Okay. And George was your dad's dad?